afternoon and welcome to our Mariners pregame show here on King 5 Plus ahead of Game 4 of the American League Championship Series. It is going to be a festival over there. Hopefully a lot of runs for the Mariners. They lead the series 2-1 after a forgettable game last night at T-Mobile Park. The Blue Jays racked up 10 runs on 18 hits. They hit 5 homers and 4 doubles in a 13-4 win. Like I said, forgettable. That's the bad. The good, the M's are still up 2-1 in the series, 2 wins away from their first ever World Series. The Mariners and Blue Jays each getting their BP in today at T-Mobile Park, getting ready for another showdown tonight under the lights. To get the win tonight, the Mariners will need Luis Castillo to be on his game. Castillo will start Game 4 for the M's. 6 innings thrown in this postseason. He hasn't given up any runs. Down the stretch, he won 4 of 5 starts. Here's what's been working the last month and a half.
Siempre yo lo he dicho.
Hey, I've always said it, long season in baseball, there's highs and lows. You always have to go out there, keep your head up, and just wait for those good moments to come. To me, it came at, a right time just because, I knew it was an important part, needed to happen. And for me, it was just kind of the start, of something good to come.
Fans are going to be fired up for this one. Let's throw it out to Sebastian Robertson with those fans outside T-Mobile Park.
Hey, Paul, how you doing? I think there's a game today, right? Judy from Mill Creek and her little posse here joins me. You guys went to the 2001 game. How was that?
It was fun until we lost. We had a great time.
The saying back then was Soto Mojo. You remember that?
Yes.
How are we feeling about today's game?
I'm feeling really good about today's game. Really good.
So baseball's all a mental game, right? You have to shake off the loss. How do you refocus yourself as a team for a game like today?
Edgar's going to do it for us. Edgar's going to bring back all those memories and experience, and we're going to win.
A lot's changed since 2001. Do you remember what a ticket was back then?
I don't remember.
I looked it up. I think you could get a single season ticket for $65.
Nice.
Sound about right?
Yeah, probably so. I mean, it's really gone up.
How about you guys? What do the Mariners need to do to win the World Series?
It'd be a big thing for all of us. We're looking forward to a win today and tomorrow, so we move on.
How about you? What'd you like?
What would I like? I mean, we just want to win, and we know we're going to, this is our year, and I think we'll all be crying.
Awesome. I'll let you guys get back into the stadium. Thank you so much. A little different this game for the playoffs. The stadium is opening a full half hour early. The hot dog vendor is loving that. Fans will have 2.5 hours to mix and mingle before first pitch. Back to you.
All right, Sebastian, fans obviously conserving their energy for tonight's big Game 4 over at T-Mobile Park. The Mariners making some changes. Dan Wilson started this series with a great lineup. He was very happy with it for 3 straight games. He stuck with that lineup, but now there are a few changes. Here's Dan today.
Dan, today's lineup, Canzone in the field, Robles starting on the bench. Just what kind of went into the mindset to make that decision for today's game?
I think we've seen some really good at bats from Leo throughout his time with our club. Certainly the game against Detroit, picking up that huge pinch hit knock, and what he's done at second base is stellar as well. So getting a chance to get him in there, and I think it should work out well. Dom has played right field all season for us and handles that well, and allows Polo a chance to DH tonight. So just a good time to get Leo in the lineup.
Go to Tim on the left.
Dan, do you have a Game 5 starter?
Yeah, Bryce Miller will take the hill for us tomorrow night. Obviously pitched well against Toronto in the first game, and looking forward to giving him the ball tomorrow.
Being that Bryce is starting tomorrow, what is the plan for Brian at this point?
Yeah, Brian's going to be available out of the pen, and I think that's the plan here going forward, and he's in good spot, and he's feeling good, and I think at this point that's where we're going to see him coming out of the pen.
I said, is Victor Robles all right after that catch in right field?
Yeah, he's fine. A great catch, great effort, which is, what we always see from Victor. And as we talked about last night, sort of reminiscent of that play in San Francisco, but, going in there hard. But that's the effort you always get from Vic.
Stay right here with Dan.
Dan, what are the challenges that Brian might now face transitioning into a role that he hasn't had, at least at the big league level? We know he did back in college.
Yeah, I think obviously it's a different kind of a role. He had a chance to do it in the All-Star game, so maybe a little bit of experience coming out of a pen. Again, this is the time of year where you ask people to do things that they're not as comfortable doing or they haven't done as much. He's got a wealth of people that will help him. The Rock, Logan Gilbert did it recently. They can help. So I think he'll be in good shape. And again, I think he's excited to get back out there.
We'll go back to Tim on the left.
One more on Brian. How much of the fact that he wasn't built up and he was probably going to be on a limited pitch count factored into using him out of the pen versus having him start?
Yeah, obviously something we considered and talked about, getting him in a game, will also allow us to, just kind of see how he is and where he's at, and that's important too. So, kind of have to wait and see how these games develop and what happens. But again, we're excited to find a spot for him and get him out there.
Dan, the offense has really been successful against Toronto's bullpen so far this series. Even last night, the score was what it was, but it had those 2 home runs late in the game. Just what have you seen from Toronto's relievers in the series that you feel like has allowed the lineup to have success against them?
I think it's more what our offense is able to do. And, we've talked about what our guys do, what they do well. They put up good at-bats, throughout. And last night was no exception. They play hard for 9 innings, even in a one-sided game, and some really good at-bats late. So, I think, again, what we do as a club offensively is really, tells the story and good at bats, grind them out at bats, and getting base runners on base, creating a little pressure on the defense, and being able to drive the ball in the gaps. Sometimes it goes out of the ballpark, and we were able to do that last night.
We'll stay in front with Jessamine.
Last night, in talking to a young player, Harry Ford, I asked him who was the leader after a game like that. Who did he depend on? He said Josh Naylor immediately was the one that rallied the troops, if you will. Is there someone that you depend on, or do you let them handle it themselves?
I mean, like I've said, there is a group in there, and it's a group of leaders, and different guys do different things at different times. Nails, since coming over, has been a leader for sure. But there's also other guys in there that have led, and they do such a great job. But it's a great culture in there. I believe Polo said that they trust each other, they rely on each other, and that's the way that this group is. And I think it's a group that has bounced back and has been resilient throughout the course of the year, and I think that's a big reason why. And again, that's why I just keep saying it's a very special group, and what they have in that clubhouse is very special.
Go on the back left, David.
Hey, Dan, one more question on Wu. What's the challenge in getting him ready if you need to use him, as opposed to a reliever who you can get hot in a hurry?
Yeah, I mean, you have to kind of give him a little bit more time. We talked about this a little bit with some of our starters before Game 5 of the ALDS, knowing that we might have a chance to use Logan Gilbert and Castillo, which we did. But again, I think they're able to use each other as resources, and we'll try to give them as much time as possible to get prepared to go out there. And that's really the thing that's the only thing we need to be concerned about is just giving him enough time. And but I think, again, his availability, his wanting to get back out there will really help there.
Go on the far right, Rick.
Danny, what kind of resource is Mitch Garver tonight facing Max Scherzer as they were together a few years ago?
Yeah, Garv has been really, he's just been tremendous all season long in terms of that. A lot of experience, obviously, having been to the World Series before, and just helping all along. But as I've said, he and Cal work so well together, and they talk about hitters a lot. And tonight, he gets to talk about a pitcher and what he saw from him. So all that, they definitely will take all that in, and our hitters will have, a good idea of what to expect. But Garv has been, that's what you hope for from your veterans, and he's been great about it, and continues to do that throughout this playoffs time too.
Dan Wilson covering a lot of ground in the press conference today as they get ready for Game 4 tonight. The biggest thing to come out of that press conference today was the announcement that Bryce Miller will get the start tomorrow night in Game 5. Brian Wu was thought to go in there and be on a limited pitch count there, maybe 50 pitches, and get the start in that game, but that's not going to happen. It's going to be Bryce Miller, and then Wu could come out of the bullpen in that one. Keep in mind, Brian Wu has not pitched since September 19th when he threw 5 scoreless innings against the Astros. So it's been about a month since he's been on the hill as he comes back from the pectoral injury. Support for the Mariners is all around us, and it showed up in the skies over Seattle. King 5's Madeline Carter introduces us to the man who's giving tridents up a new meaning.
Every time that I leave the ground, everything just kind of, the sense of serenity just flows through.
Jeremy Bellwood finds peace here at Painfield Airport. 13 years as a pilot, and still, nothing can top the way this feels.
As you're flying around the maneuvers, looking down every now and then, it's like, wow, this is just so awesome to be up in this space.
When he built this plane in 2017, it was only meant to be a hobby. But 8 years later, the Glass Air Sportsman is living up to its name.
I've just always loved baseball. I played as a kid for a few years and love watching it at the stadium.
When he isn't in the sky, you can find Jeremy at a Seattle Mariners game.
I've been a season ticket holder for 10 years, and right now they are on fire.
Watching his teams rise to success from the stands.
Once they got into the playoffs, I wanted to do something special.
Tuesday morning, Jeremy took tridents up to a whole new level over downtown.
Fuel pump.
Flying his blue and white plane in the path of a trident.
Clear.
Right before the Mariners come home to continue the championship series.
It has to be one contiguous line. You can't pick up the pen and move to another spot on the sky and redrive.
In order to seize the moment, he used Google Earth to make sure his coordinates were spot on.
Because I wanted the middle of the trident kind of right over T-Mobile Park.
The trident-shaped flight also took off online. But Jeremy says his inspiration stayed grounded in one thing: the Mariners.
We need to get these next 2 wins, and fortunately we've got 3 games at home in order to try to make it happen.
If it does, he'll take off again to cheer on his team from above as they head to the World Series. Madeline Carter, King 5 News.
That definitely takes some talent right there. We've got a lot to get to here on the Mariners pregame show. We're going to go over to the ballpark. Chris Egan will join us in just a few, and we'll hear from Julio Rodriguez. That's next on the M's pregame show here on King 5 Plus. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Mariners pregame show here on King 5 Plus. Game 4 on the horizon, and the Mariners have prided themselves on resiliency this season. They seem to bounce back strong after coming out with a clunker, and they certainly had a clunker last night, losing 13-4. Let's go over to the ballpark now. Chris Egan joins us live from T-Mobile. Chris?
Yeah, Paul, you said it. That was a rough one last night for the Seattle Mariners, and you also have to give a little credit to the Toronto Blue Jays. They're taking batting practice as we speak right now, and this is a team that's done very well in Seattle. 18 hits last night. You talk about Vladimir Guerrero, 0 for 7 in games 1 and 2. Last night, 4 for 4 and a walk. This is a Toronto Blue Jays team that put up big numbers when they came here in May and swept the Mariners in that series, taking BP as we speak. On the Mariners side, Julio Rodriguez having a pretty good series. 2 home runs in this series so far. He has 3 home runs. He's also the leader of this team, and Paul mentioned it today, that this is a team that has been very well at flushing tough losses and rebounding for the next one. Dan Wilson announced today that Dom Canzone will start in right, Jorge Polanco will DH, Victor Robles is out of the starting lineup tonight, and Leo Rivas will start at second and bat ninth. Here's Julio Rodriguez on Rivas getting the start tonight and much more.
I mean, for us, I think Leo, what he brings to the lineup is huge. You know, like you said, like he always having great at bats. He plays great defense too. So he's somebody that when you put him in the lineup, you know he's gonna have those really good at bats, and he can definitely like get everybody in trouble just creating things on the base pad.
We'll go over here to Dan.
Julio, what have you seen from this clubhouse and its ability to just flush away tough losses and move on to the next day? And, you know, how have you seen that evolve as the season's gone along?
I just feel like it has become like really a part of our identity. You know, we take it one day at a time. I feel like we all like do a pretty good job just staying present in the moment and kind of like just take games as they go. And like, you know, sometimes you're gonna experience tough losses, and like you cannot, you know, avoid that. But I feel like something that you can really control is how you respond and how you show up the next day, you know, ready to compete again.
We'll go back to Taryn in the middle.
On that note of kind of the mentality of like flushing away tough losses, was there a moment in this season that you guys kind of adopted that or fully committed that, or was that just kind of a combination of experiences from the past couple of years that this core group of players went through?
I just feel like, you know, as this season kind of kept going forward, I feel like, you know, that kind of kept growing and growing, because it was, even though like we knew we had a really good team, like we experienced like some tough batches, and I just feel like those were the times where like, you know, we were really able to solidify that.
Calling Rick on the right.
Julio, I know you're going to hit a home run in the bottom of the first inning again, but what do you learn from the dugout to the on-deck circle? What do you watch when Randy's up there and Cal's up there to do what you've done the last few days?
Honestly, like I like seeing, you know, the way that they're pitching, but at the same time I have my own approach. You know, I always try to like, you know, get something when it's my turn to hit, like just to see something over the middle of the play and try to put a good swing to it.
We'll go to Tyler on the right.
Julio, you had such a great second half. What did the decision to take a few days at the All-Star break rather than go to the game kind of reset? How did that help you in the second half when you look back at where you were in July?
I would say just taking a time for myself to actually dive deep in myself and like just to address the things I thought I've done better, like to just kind of organize my head a little bit better, and you know put myself in a better spot to compete and like kind of bring the best self out of me.
Go to Jessamine in front.
We just heard from Dan Wilson about the leadership in the clubhouse. You know, Harry Ford said that Josh Naylor had some words last night. Being a part of that group, it sounded like Dan thought that you guys all come together. It could be a different person every day. What does that mean to you? And do you find a time when you are that person to be the leader?
I'll say yeah. I feel like I found myself in like those situations too. But I just feel like it's not just me. I just feel like it can come from anybody, honestly. I feel like everybody knows the goal, like why we're here, like why we're doing what we're doing, like why we're playing hard every single day, like why we need to flush out games. I feel like everybody knows that. So I feel like it's like a collective effort. I feel like everybody can pull the lead a little bit.
Go in the middle back, David.
A fun question here. Has Josh Naylor given you any stolen base tips?
I by watching him, yeah, there's a lot of tips by watching him. Like he's always like looking for opportunity out there on the field, and that's something that that he definitely brings to the game. And I just feel like by watching him, I definitely like copy a little bit of him.
Go to Jordan in the back left.
Julio, what's been your experience working not just with Edgar Martinez, but Kevin Seitzer and Bobby Magianis, and how have you seen the team kind of work with them throughout the course of the season?
I feel like working with all of them, they're all like really good at something different. You know, like I feel like Bobby is really good at like the swing side of things. Seitz and Edgar are really good at the approach and the experience, and like, you know, like. And that dynamic that they have, it's like really works for us because like we all, I feel like we all like learn to trust them and like what they do. And I feel like that's something really good when you have like that connection with your hitting coaches like that, because, you know, like they put a lot of effort to help us out, to watch our swings, to like kind of dive into our mentality as hitters. And it's something that is, I think is really good for the team, the whole dynamic that they got.
Come over on the right, Adam.
Just building off that with Edgar in particular, just how was your relationship with him grown over the last year in particular?
I feel like so much, you know, like he's so much more around now, and like, you know, we have been able to establish a really good relationship. Just talking about life, you know, baseball, like his experience like with this team and like throughout his career, and I think he just has so much to offer to like young players like me and to everybody in the clubhouse, just like for like how much experience and how much, you know, he have done in this game.
Go to Tyler in the middle.
Julio, you committed to this franchise for a bunch of years, very early in your career. What was it about the direction and the vision of the organization that you found appealing?
I would say because I saw that we have the possibility of being moments like this. You know, playing for the teams that we're playing right now, you know, like trying to get to the World Series, like playing really meaningful games in the postseason. I just feel like I saw it back then. And that was something that, you know, I could tell the fans were really into it, that they loved the game. I could tell, like, where everything was going. I just feel like for situations like this was the reason why I decided to commit, like, pretty much my career of playing for the Seattle Mariners.
Julio Rodriguez speaking with the media earlier today. You're watching our live pregame.
I was Chris Egan live over at T-Mobile Ballpark, and the Mariners and Blue Jays getting set for Game 4 tonight. Julio Rodriguez making some interesting comments, but I will say this. Chris Egan goes down to spring training every year, and years ago, when Julio was just a teenager, he sat down with us and he said he wanted to bring a world championship to the Mariners and to the city of Seattle. That's what he talked about when he was 19 years old. So this is something he's had in his mind for a long time, certainly a goal of his and a goal of this franchise to get to their first ever World Series and bring home a title. So Julio Rodriguez, one of the superstars on this baseball team. You know, fans are soaking up the playoff atmosphere. Dozens of Blue Jays fans arrived in Seattle in the Victoria Clipper yesterday, creating what some are calling a Canadian invasion. Here's King 5's Bridget Chavez.
Call it an invasion by sea.
I can talk some smack. You guys are going down. Good luck. Good luck. Let's go, number 27.
The Clipper from Victoria docked this afternoon in Seattle, packed with about 275 passengers, most of them wearing Blue Jays gear and ready to make noise.
Let's go, Blue Jays!
Clipper says this kind of mid-October rush is rare but very welcome. From the ferry terminal to T-Mobile Park, Canadians are trading maple leaves for Mariners country.
We're BC boys. Grew up watching Griffey and Etro and all the boys. We're here to support the Mariners. We coming down for years watching them. We don't fall into this bandwagon stuff with the Jays fans.
And while they've brought plenty of energy,
it's not over yet. It's okay. The last time we came here, we won all three. So just saying.
They're clearly outnumbered.
We were one of 4 fans of Mariners, I think, on that boat. But we're coming here in numbers, hoping to bring a 3-0 lead here.
Visit Seattle says in 2024, 1.7 million Canadians visited Seattle and King County, making up 73% of international visitors and just over 4% of all visitors.
We are going to overwhelm the Mariners fans today with our Blue Jay chants, with our Go Canada Go, right? Let's go Blue Jays. We're going to start that very early. It's going to start in the first inning. It's not going to end.
They may be loud.
I've got 99 problems, but winning the World Series Series isn't won. Let's go, Blue Jays!
But this Canadian invasion is also a major economic win. Last year, Canadian visitors spent $586 million here, accounting for more than 60% of international visitor spending and nearly 7% of total spending.
I'm happy that either team will be in the World Series, but I am cheering for the Blue Jays first.
Blue Jays fans confident that they're going to win another one and maybe another one after that. So 2 more here in Seattle. We'll see what happens tonight in Game 4. Here is another look at the starting pitchers. The Jays will go with veteran right-hander Max Scherzer. He's 41 years old, trying to recapture some of that magic he had back in Detroit with the Tigers and certainly with the Nationals.
It's always kind of individualized. You know, there's until you're actually in postseason play and experience it. You have to know how to handle it yourself. I mean, you can only hear so much advice from somebody else. I mean, for me, early in my career, I thought I got bad advice. Somebody tried to tell me to stay calm. Yeah, I'm not going to stay calm. That's not good advice for me. And so, I've learned it throughout my career. No, you got to kind of match the moment. You got to know who you are. You know who you are when you go out there, and match that type of moment with your adrenaline. So that's how I go out there and pitch. That's how I handle it.
It will be really interesting. He has a ton of experience, but at 41 years old, you just have to wonder. The mind wants to do what maybe the body can't do anymore, and hopefully the Mariners will take advantage of that tonight. Let's go back out to T-Mobile Park. Chris Egan joins us. Chris?
Yeah, Paul, you mentioned his experience. He is making his 500th career start tonight in this game. Only 41 pitchers in all of Major League Baseball history have made 500 or more starts. He's pitched in 20 playoff games. He's 7-8 in those playoff games. He helped the Rangers win a World Series in 2023. He helped the Nationals win a World Series in 2019. But Scherzer, as you mentioned, Paul, he's 41. This is not the best Max Scherzer. Yes, he's a Hall of Famer, but he struggled this season. He had his highest ERA, and he had a very rough September. He made 4 starts in the month of September for the Toronto Blue Jays. He lost 3 of those games and gave up 17 runs in those games. So we'll see. I talked to some members of the Toronto media. They said he had a great live bullpen session, threw over 90 pitches, but then again, that's a live bullpen session. That is not Game 4 against this Mariners lineup. Max Scherzer also, Paul, making history tonight. He will be making a start with his 6th team in the playoffs. That has never been done before. Of course, pitched with the Rangers, the Nationals, the Mets, the Tigers, and making a start tonight with the Toronto Blue Jays. So quite the story. We'll see. But I'll tell you what, he's facing off against Luis Castillo, who has been red hot for the Mariners down the stretch. Hopefully the Rock can keep that rolling tonight. We are live inside T-Mobile Park. Take a look. Toronto Blue Jays wrapping up batting practice as we speak here, Paul. But for now, that's the story. Max Scherzer versus Luis Castillo. And both teams, Paul, I know a lot of Seattle Mariners fans are talking about it. Well, Munoz is rested, Matt Brash is rested, Gabe Spire is rested. Well, guess who also is rested? The Toronto Blue Jays bullpen as well, because they didn't have to throw their big guns last night too. Let's send it back to you, Paul.
All right, Chris, looking forward to hearing from you after the game, hopefully with a lot of happy players and some happy fans as well, as the Mariners hopefully will take Game 4 and go up 3-1 in this series. Some changes. Leo Rivas is going to be in this ball game. Remember, Rivas pinch hit in that Tigers game in the ALDS Game 5 and drove in the tying run in the 7th inning to tie that up and send it to 15 innings eventually, where the Mariners won. So Rivas, 28 years old, has a little knack for coming up clutch, and we'll see what he can do tonight. So some changes in that lineup. Bryce Miller will get the start tomorrow in Game 5. Tonight, it's Castillo, Game 4 for the Mariners and the Blue Jays. Thank you for watching here on King 5 Plus.